Welcome to the Cast and Blast Grill and Chill podcast all about hunting, fishing, hanging out, and having a good time. Joined by my cousin Trevor as always, and we're going to break down what we've been doing for the past couple of months since we haven't really been recording. Um,
Off
and
season, man. Off season. A lot of fishing, not as much hunting, but still getting some stuff in there. But yeah, off season stuff. Been posting a lot of stuff up on social media. So if y'all looking for something to look at online, bored, go check it out. See what we've been up to.
yeah, definitely. I've definitely been posting all my summer adventures. My trip up to Arkansas that I took up there. Posted pictures. I got some videos and stuff that I'm still yet to post on there, but I'm gonna post them on Instagram and our Facebook. And then I know you've been updating the Facebook regular with your hog hunts and fishing trips you've been doing. I've been more living the
Yeah,
home life, but managed to go down to the coast and a couple other things. So, but we're definitely keeping everybody updated with what's going on with there, what's going on in the garden, what we've been cooking, what we've been eating, and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And I did want to touch on the stuff we post about meals and stuff like that. If y'all have any questions on how we're cooking it or the recipe, we're more than willing to share all that information if you just drop a comment, and we'll definitely quick to interact on that type of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we don't have any problems giving you our recipes or what seasoning blends we're using, anything like
Yeah,
that.
preparation, how we're searing it, blah 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 blah. That whole deal. Well, got me a hog, sir.
I know you got you a hog.
Delicious fatty hog.
I about to say that hog had a lot of fat on it. I think I actually need to post that picture on Instagram with just how fat that hog was.
Yeah, and because I mean, it's an inch and a half of fat for sure, if not more. I'm glad I took that picture of just that first incision right before gutting that hog. But I mean, dude, a layer of fat, corn full of stomach, or
Yeah,
stomach full of corn.
yeah.
So yeah, man, they're going into those fields over there and they're just having a blast.
Oh yeah, they're mowing down them farmers' corn.
Yeah, 2 in the morning, pissing him off, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm glad they're to be happy to be one less now.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely took me a while to get on them though.
Yeah, it definitely. What? How long did it take you to pattern them?
Well, off and on between work and fishing trips and everything else, not going to that area before starting fresh on that actual property on the section of public lands been hunting, I would say at least close to 10 trips, probably closer to 15.
Yeah, and what? That's probably a good solid month and a half
Yeah,
of going, going.
starting in April, ending in July. So about that long.
Okay, and that was the.
To actually get them patterned to where I'm confident that almost every time I go out, I'm at least gonna see hog or fresh sign.
Yeah, because what? You started going out there a lot in April, I want
Yeah,
to say,
yeah.
and
And I was
then
consistently going out.
because I mean, you had your buddy the rattlesnake that you ran into and managed to
Yep.
put an arrow in because he
I
kept.
think that was right around the first day of spring. I think that was the day after the first day of spring is when I found that rattlesnake and ended up he had to go away because that was the second time
Third time.
at night, third time at night walking back that he was in the same damn place. So he had to go away because I couldn't run the risk of me forgetting about him one night or him tucked away just a little bit different spot and getting me and me being out there by myself, being far away from a hospital. Plus I can't afford that hospital bill right now
Yeah,
necessarily.
anti
That
venom.
anti that
Venom.
antivenom is a little pricey.
Yeah, it's
They,
definitely not the cheapest thing out
they like
there.
to hold on to that stuff for sure. But yeah,
So,
man, it took me about what is that? I don't know, almost 4 months, 3 4 months.
and then because you got pretty serious there for a while, but that was when you were hunting the other spot, and then you kind of slacked off, went to fishing, and
Got on the crappie run for a little bit.
made the mistake of getting a girlfriend again.
Got a girlfriend again. Got away from that. Uh, yeah, started going back out again. Kind of changed my game plan. So the first section when I was going out there a lot, ended up finally getting on a good spot to where I ended up seeing them. Got lucky right after a big rain the day before, and they were coming out real early, about an hour before sunset, and they were starting to go out into where future ragweed would be, and they're rooting around in the ragweed up in this big, 500-acre open field. I was just posted up on a tree line, ended up following them to the ragweed sticks at that point, super noisy. They're making a ton of noise. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible, but kind of figured out that you can get behind them, and if you're just staying right around the pack, they're so in such thick cover, they just think it's another hog, especially if they're in bigger numbers. If they're not in a small family, you can actually come in and make some noise and be okay as long as the wind's right for you.
Yeah, I about to say as long as you play the wind out there, because I'm pretty familiar with that area because we dove hunt out. Most of those pastures are pretty similar,
Yeah.
and hogs don't see great. They hear pretty good, but that's the nose you definitely got to watch out for with them. So as
Yeah,
long as you play the wind,
and the ears can be tricked, like I was saying, just because of that. Vision's definitely out of the realm of anything, just because they can't see. I can't see them as much as they can't see me, and I'm confident I have better vision than they do.
oh, definitely.
So you're looking at trying to stock up within 15 yards to try and get a shot that you may still have to try and break through one thing of ragweed to get to them. It's just so thick in there that I just decided, after losing a rangefinder back in there, it fell off my belt, and then it's just like, dude, I gotta quit going in there. So it kind of changed my game plan. Re-looked at a map, decided that I was gonna go one creek over from where I had been, when the main creek kind of splits into a bunch of little tributaries, and it's kind of splitting up the land there. I was going to go one over in a general land mass area, the other one that I had not been hunting before, and back in the shit. Um, Finally went out there, just happened to find a riverbed that's, I mean, it has to rain hard before that actually gets standing water in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to follow that through some now live ragweed and very thick back to a spot. I mean, I was only 500 yards off of my original hunting spot, and now I'm on the X. Now I'm seeing hogs. So when you walking up in there, and I always hear them first out there.
Well, that's good. They're letting you know that they're out there and where they're at.
They're very, very vocal, um, and grunts. Not as much in. I can hear the grunts before I can hear something moving through the woods.
Yeah,
You know,
you hear that kind of oinking and grunting they do as they're kind of rooting.
yeah, kind of rooting, or just somebody got too close to them. They're letting them know, hey, I'm here, get off me, or whatever. Just general chatter, kind of.
Yeah,
Like in duck hunting, when the general chatter that almost sounds like a feeder call, but it's just up in the air, in a high V kind of chatter.
yeah, that kind of just, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, kind of everyone checking in,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
push off a little bit.
yeah, that kind of thing. So, and then, if one gets upset, gets real vocal, real loud, then okay, I can pinpoint it. Go a little bit closer, real slow, wait for that next one until I can start hearing actually where they're at. And, just making sure that wind's good all at the same time. Once I finally got on that spot the first day, was doing a morning hunt. Got out there, followed those exact instructions, how to get in and how to find them. Got on them. Ended up taking one shot at a sow, and just totally misjudged. Ranged her at 30, and by the time I could draw my bow and not make a bunch of noise and everything else, she had moved 5 yards further out. So I actually ended up shooting right under that sow. Recovered the arrow, no blood, no hair, no nothing. I mean, it was clean miss. The Beeman ICS arrows that I'm shooting are red and white, fletched, so I can pretty much see them in the daylight if they're gonna miss.
Yeah.
I can follow that arrow pretty well. But yeah, so that was kind of a bust of a day, but I did find them, did get on where they were, and decided the next day to go,
Was that the
to go out
day?
again.
Was that the day that you found where a lot of them had been wallowing and like mudding and stuff.
So they were running across, that dry creek bed that I said has to be a real heavy rain
Yeah.
for it to actually hold any water. Well, that actually runs down to the lake. So when the lake levels are really high, it starts backing up that.
Okay.
So we had had a couple of little rains before that. So maybe 50 yards off of the lake, which is, no section of this extent of this creek bed, they had a little bit of water there. And so they were kind of running back and forth across that and did have a wallow, a wallow there too.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I was actually standing in that water to get a lane to try and take that shot at that sow that first day. Um, but that did nothing but amp me up to go back out.
Yeah, definitely getting that close because
Getting that,
I know the
you know,
previous times where you'd got on them, it had always been either last light and stalking them in the dark to just kind of pattern them.
yeah,
You knew you didn't
you
have a
know,
chance to take a shot at them, but you were just trying to figure out what they were doing over there in that other place at night.
yeah, and I'll definitely waiting for an opportunity, but it just wasn't gonna happen in that terrain because there was just so much obstruction and just, my senses are just as hindered as theirs were back there.
Yeah.
So I could get close, but I couldn't get a shot for sure. Not an ethical shot at all. But yeah, so went back out a day later and went back in the same spot. I mean, went and set up to where I could sit and listen and play the wind right on a log, kind of behind a little bit of cover. And man, past the uh, past the 8 o'clock hour where I'd seen them the previous day, starting to get a little bit toasty out there. It's July now, and so it's getting hot at starting at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, if not sooner.
Yeah, as soon as that sun
Um,
breaks.
yeah, man. So I think it hit 8:30, and raccoon was back behind me, screwing with me, and I was like, screw it, man. Let me walk down this creek bed some more. So the creek bed turns into lake. So I gotta go off, and there's a cattle trail off to the left of the lake. Follow it around. Find a cool spot we could pull the boat up, so we don't have to hike in a ton of miles to go, dove hunt. A good spot, so we could just pull the boat right up. Found a nice little leisure shit and shit on a tree, and took me a break. Went back. Um, Saw a real nice buck on the way back, man. Just kind of chilling in there. But walk back, look in the same general direction of where I'd come from that morning and where I'd been the day before, and just kind of slowly creeping through there. Big ass brown hog just kind of slips in and out of some ragweed, and I just barely caught because it's 4.5, 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
So I'm 6'4", so luckily I can look over and down into that shit a little bit better, but barely slipped through a clearing, and there was two more behind it, but didn't get a good look at those. So I try and slowly slip behind them to try and go around and cut it off. Still playing the wind. End up, while trying to be quiet, snapping one twig. About 20 took off out of the ragweed and went about, I'd say about 65, 70 yards, stopped, turned around, looking straight at me. I mean, I was out in the open because I was trying to ambush them in on some ragweed.
Yeah.
And
But
so,
they can't see that far away though.
no, 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 but they're turning around looking in the direction of the danger,
Yeah.
you know? So, you know, I'm standing there. They decide that they don't like whatever that was, and they take off. I'm like, shit, man, I just screwed up.
Shush, Caitlin.
So yeah, I was like, man, I screwed up, missed it all. I just blew today too. Um,
Yeah.
so
Go outside,
started going around, um, started going back through the ragweed. Hear one little grunt in there. Heard two, heard three, heard some shuffling. Dude, there's at least 30 more hogs in that ragweed.
Nice.
I visibly only saw one walking in. There was at least 50. Because 20 leaving, 30 in the ragweed.
Yeah, that's a big group of hogs. I didn't
I mean,
realize it was that big a group.
yeah, because no, man, I mean, I'm in there, like, and they're just posted up all in there. And So I'm like, okay, I'm listening to where this one is. I see a little shake in a bush, so I'm starting to slowly stalk up. There's a little tiny cut where I can barely squeeze my skinny little butt through and get it like maybe a good position for a shot. Glance down, there's a 100 pound little boar sitting right there, and he's laying down, looking away from me. So I took that back, like kind of stepped back into the side, drew back, and shot point blank, and just kind of quartered the vitals there, and got right behind the front shoulder to where it would penetrate up and through the front of the chest.
Yeah, kind of went through the heart and lungs, kind of down and at an angle.
Yeah, dude, that thing had no idea I was there. He thought I was a hog for sure because I was making a little bit of noise, but nothing. The wind was right and everything, so he never caught that. Hot, laying down, trying to relax, not really, guard off.
Yeah.
Um, Squeals, takes off, starts hauling ass. Not too much, not a full chop, but clipping pretty good. And luckily, he's going through the ragweed, so I'm able to kind of just watch and see where he's
Where it's
making a
going,
tunnel.
yeah.
Yeah, at least watch the top of the ragweed, see the general direction. Um, gave it a good 15 minutes or so. Started tracking a little bit. Went and checked some, obvious openings right there a little bit, where my vision had ended there. Um, got on and, didn't see anything in the obvious places. Lost the blood trail, had to go back, start over real quick. Luckily, I wasn't that far down. Followed it for about, man, it was a good 100 yards, 150 yards for sure. He got a long ways. I think I clipped that lung, and 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 yeah, so following the blood trail, ends up he went straight to his waller and got down in the mud, started rubbing around. He kicked my arrow off in that water and died right there in the water. So when I came up to him, I got a picture of it. I don't remember if it's posted up or not, but we'll post it of him laying in the water there. Uh, but he felt the pain, immediately knew something was wrong, went straight to the water, as if he would if he was getting swarmed by mosquitoes, or
Yeah, I
he got
mean,
bit by a snake or something like that. He's going to try and cover it up. The only thing that he knows to help his pain
yeah. Well,
is
that's
like
like,
that's their quick medicine or remedy, is
yeah,
go get in the mud.
I mean, that's the one thing
Yeah.
like I've learned is every time I've ever shot or arrowed an animal, and I've had to try and find it, is what I've always gone and done is if I lose the blood trail or whatever, can't find it, is go to the nearest water.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that's where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that option, you got something close by, then for sure it's a good option. They go to something that they're gonna know, unless they're in a full panic. Then but if you're not right behind them and you're leaving them alone, they don't know necessarily. They don't hear a big boom. If you're hunting
Yeah.
with a bow, then they don't necessarily know what the hell's going on. If you're not lucky enough to get a heart shot and drop them, at 20 yard, go 20 yards and drop down.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you stick them through the lungs, I've shot them.
If you double lung them, yeah, you can still go.
Yeah, I mean,
For
because
a little while.
I've double lunged a hog. I mean, clean but I didn't get the heart, and the that hog I know for a fact ran. He got a big last breath, and he wound up going almost 180 yards. I
Hmm.
mean, it was a cut field, that was mowed down like grass, and I mean, it was a straight beeline run towards the trees, and he didn't make it back to the trees. But
Yeah,
I was wondering if I'd missed him.
yeah, yeah. Because man, and sometimes it's just that adrenaline that gets them going, and they're running on that for a little while. So you do not want to provoke that at all and kick that up, because
Yeah,
especially in deer, because you're never gonna find them again, man. You're never gonna be able to catch that deer.
yeah.
That deer's gone.
So how'd your pack out go?
Well, I had to drag him out of the water first. Grabbed a hoof and an ear and started dragging him. And I mean, dude, there's big old logs that he went over to get back in that thing. Oh, one thing I do want to add before we get into this is he showed me exactly where the heaviest waller out there is now.
Oh,
He went
nice.
exactly to it. I did not know it was there. And he showed me on the X and went and died in the damn thing. So I know where that is now. That's a good thing to know. That's another place I can check if my first spot isn't paying off now.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of gave away the secret for all of his buddies,
Well, it's
but
gonna be bad for hogs.
bad for them, good for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. But I had drug him out, gutted him. Like I said, took that picture. I was so surprised that there was that much fat on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good 100 pound little boar. Um, Fully developed and dropped testicles and all that, but you know, no giant tusks or
Yeah. No
no
big.
Hogzilla shit.
Yeah. No big cutters or anything.
No,
Good eating
no real
size.
big cutters. Yeah, I mean, as big as I would really want to go on a boar,
Yeah.
and as old as I would want to go on a boar.
Yeah.
Um, so got him gutted, man. You're still talking 70 pounds. Throw that sucker, and I'm in the thick shit. Throw that sucker up over my shoulders, grab the bow, um, get him out to my shade tree outside of all the thick shit.
Out away from all the
Uh,
mosquitoes.
yeah, start caping him out, man. Yeah, the mosquitoes were no joke back there, but start caping him out, get the hide off, cool that meat down, and quarter him up, throw him in the pack, and walk my 3 miles back to the truck. That was hard. My back hurt.
Yeah. Well, that's
Plus, it was a blistering 90 something degrees.
yeah. Because what you knocked that hog down? What about 9:30?
I think it was right after 9 o'clock, like 10 after or something.
Yeah. Because I remember the text because I was up in Arkansas and you sent me, you know, you know, just shot a pig, getting ready to track him.
Yeah,
And then when I texted you back, because I'd been out working on either the lawnmower or the four wheeler or something, I don't remember what I was working on. I was working on something. And then when I came back and texted you, you had just got done, uh, just finished packing him out. And
yeah.
you hadn't even quartered him, finished quartering him up. So I got a question. Are you going to use that army style backpack knapsack anymore when you go back in there since you know where the hogs are and you're pretty certain you can get on them? Or are you going to start
You,
using that frame pack?
you know, if I can start being selective, I wouldn't mind that little army duffel thing because I'm not going to shoot a hog that big every time.
Yeah.
I would preferably like to shoot a smaller hog. If I get to be picky, um, it would be nice. And what I really want to find is just an external frame and some game bags and some paracord. Because being so hot out there, man, carrying around that pack on your back, you're gonna bleed, sweat, and all kinds of shit through the back of your shirt. I mean, some of the backpacks are real good about it, but I only got one internal frame backpack right now, and I really don't feel like getting it hog blood all inside of it at the
Yeah.
moment. Um, it ain't quite broken in yet for hog blood, so
Yeah.
I'd like to just go on like Craigslist or something and find like an external frame and some game bags
That's
from
not a that's not a bad idea actually. Go find an older model, you know, late late 80s, mid
yeah,
90s,
just
just
something
a
close enough to where it fits my back, and
mhm.
I can get that on, and I feel like that would be a lot cooler, to
Well,
get it in because when I'm bow hunting now, I put a fanny pack on if I'm just hiking in and doing like a couple hours during the day. I'm not at a big base camp.
yeah.
I throw a fanny pack on, small pair of binoculars, rangefinder goes on the belt, and a knife in there, first aid kit, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same way I go in now when I'm doing my
Yeah.
my deer hunts over here close to the house. I'm not toting a backpack. Not even that small little day pack backpack I have. I pretty much I have those like military style cargo pants.
Hmm.
I just stuff everything in the pockets in those, and like you said, I have the like holder for my uh, rangefinder. I put it on
Yeah.
my belt
Yeah.
and
Yeah, man, it looks great.
quick and
Uh,
light and
it's light. You feel more agile. Plus, everything's right there. You don't have to go through anything.
hmm
I keep mine on the front when I'm walking and looking for stuff. And then if I'm in a stock, all I have to do is just slide that thing around to the back, so I can bend over, I can crouch down, and it's not in between my stomach and my legs and all of that stuff. It's really comfortable. I got it for $10 off of Amazon. It's that tan color,
Yeah.
whatever, khaki tan, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man, works great. I took the zipper handles off of it because they were clinking. They were like brass or some kind of something like that. I'll just cut them off. So I just grabbed the
Little
little thing.
little tab.
The main one I put a little piece of paracord on so I
There
could
you
grab
go.
it quick.
Yeah, that's what
But
I do too. Is always put a cut the metal tabs off and put a piece of paracord
yeah,
through.
dude, it's loud. It's
Yeah.
loud. Come deer season, I take every precaution I can.
Yeah.
These I've learned a lot about spot and stock on hogs recently.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly an entirely different game. I haven't done a lot of bow hunting for hogs at all, so this is all new to me. When I go hog hunt, it's go blast them and
Yeah.
clean up
Stack 'em up.
afterwards. Yeah, so this is an entirely new thing, but as far as I'm concerned, this is great practice for deer season,
Yeah, exactly.
especially where we go and it's so thick back in those woods,
Hmm.
man. And
Come
that
up.
East Texas stuff.
Come October 1st, we're gonna be ready.
Yeah, yeah. Um, got my slide all locked in, ready to go.
What you got your pins set out to 60 now or 80?
Yeah, I'm doing 10-yard intervals starting at 20 going to 60. It's a 5-pin sight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what as often as you're shooting now, what would you consider your outer limit that you would take a shot at on a
My
deer?
most comfortable ethical shot right now, I could probably split pins and go 45
Okay.
and be very comfortable. Um, this bow being so old and I'm holding 50% of the weight, I get a little shaky. And when I get out to further yardages, it's especially, I'm holding 30 pounds
Yeah.
at least, 30, 32 pounds the entire time. So when I get out and, you know, a lot of times on that 60 pin, you're having to lift up that bow a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you're trying to hold it right on that, and
Trying to
then
get that bubble level.
your target area that's a saucer size becomes a lot smaller at 60 yards than it is at 20 yards. You
Yeah.
can basically go in blind at 20 yards and do pretty well, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely just, I mean, I'm trying to practice, practice, practice. Unfortunately, in my backyard, the furthest shot I can get is 30 yards. So I have to go somewhere else to shoot 30
Longer
plus.
range, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you've cooked up some of that hog. How I know you did a whole smoked front shoulder, but what'd you do? You cooked tenderloin first, right? And how'd you wind up doing that?
So, yeah, man, I've just been I cut on that back strap, dude. I just chunked it out in about, 12-inch sections.
Mm-hmm.
That looked a lot bigger on the screen when I held my hands up, bigger than 12 inches, but I cut it in about 12-inch sections, and it's a nice thick back strap. I butterfly it, rub that Fiesta brand wild game seasoning with the tenderizer in it,
Mm-hmm.
let it sit for like 3 hours, go throw it on the grill or throw it on a hot cast iron and a little bit of oil and quick sear it and get it up to, past trichinosis and
There you go.
eat that sun gun. Yeah, dude, that tenderizer and that wild game rub is no joke. That shit is magic.
Yeah, it's got a good flavor. Is what I really like about it. Is like
We
what
take
it,
a pause.
all right. So you sorry about the kind of rough cut here. Trevor had to take a call. He's on call this week.
Mr. Popular.
Yep. Yeah, have to work, make that overtime.
Yeah, man.
All right, so the Fiesta brand seasoning, you took it, you seared it up in a cast iron.
Yeah, dude, or on the grill, whatever. That shit works out great, man. That Fiesta brand wild game seasoning, highly recommend it to anybody that listens to this and cooks wild game. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it's got a good mix of seasonings. It's got a little bit of everything that you like. So
And it's rough ground, so another bonus. I love rough ground seasonings.
yeah, me too. Okay, so but my real question is, what'd you do to the whole shoulder? Because it looked delicious.
Whole shoulder, I went and actually did basically just like a basic rib rub.
Mm-hmm.
Start with that. Well, first of all, thaw it out. Make sure it's completely thawed out. Pat it down with a napkin. I did rib rub and also that wild game seasoning mix and mixed it in there so it's got some tenderizer in it. Let that sit for I think it was like 6 hours or so while I slept that night before I started the smoker, and it got mesquite wood. So get the smoker on 225. I went straight onto it, dude. I didn't
Yeah.
sear it first. I didn't brine it first. I didn't do anything first. I went straight on with it and went for 8.5 hours. It should have been 10. Me and my girl were starving at that point,
Yeah.
so I pulled it off at 8.5 and finished it out at 400 degrees on the gas grill next door to it. So threw it on there, finished it out, past trigonosis level once again.
Yep.
I'm not trying to get no shit in my muscles, and it took it, and that was a perfect sear on the back end of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, 225. It probably should have gone 10 hours. When I do that whole ham, it's gonna be at least a 14-hour
14,
thing.
16 hours probably. You're gonna go.
Yeah,
You're gonna go mesquite or oak on it.
I would like to do oak on the ham.
Okay.
I need some more oak though.
I got.
I'm almost out of everything.
I still got some oak. And I'll start working on gathering up some more. Well, shoot. I know you got to go
So
get to
we'll
work because you just got that call to go out on your call. So we'll go ahead and wrap
do it.
this up. Be looking for another podcast here in probably another week or two. Also, gonna be getting a subscription service to get it out on Stitcher, iTunes, etc., so forth and so on here in the next couple of weeks. So we're gonna try and go a little bit more legitimate with this. So until next time, everyone, get outside, have a good time, and
See y'all later.
have a good one. Bye.